Oh, right, just 5 more minutes and we'll leave.
My way emailed me the way that's fine.
No, the funny thing was, I looked at just in sound bites.
Wait. Yeah. I just want to make. No, that's not mine.
Of course. There is actually a
I guess. Right? That was nice.
Are you going to come here?
Also here today is my Chief Detective, Steve Cuccinello, who's right behind me, right? Captain Joe Horniak is captain in the oversees major crimes. Major crimes in my office handles homicides, arsons, and fatal acts investigations. So obviously it was an easy part of us to have Captain oversee it. Lieutenant Rob Angelotti to his left, to your right, it was a lieutenant directly in charge with this investigation. Sergeant Gary Almers to his left is the sergeant in the arson squad. It's those three gentlemen, in addition to the chief detectives who have not slept in a very long period of time, and who personally I owe a debt of gratitude here this morning. We're joined by Attorney General Jeff Chiesa and Director Steve Taylor from the Division of Criminal Justice Office of the Attorney General. Also with FBI Special Agent Mike Ward is Doug Vivia. We have County Executive Kathy Donovan, Sheriff Mike Sordino. We are here with representatives from the Rutherford Police Department, Paramus Police Department. We're joined by other community members. My first assistant, John Higgins. This morning, detectives from our office, along with officers from the Lodi Police Department, arrested Anthony Graziano of Lodi, New Jersey. Mr. Graziano was 19 years old. Within a few weeks will turn 20. He is a graduate of Hasbrook Heights High School, I believe in 2010, but just recently has been living with his mother and siblings at the residence in Lodi. He is unemployed. I believe he attended or was in the process of attending Bergen Community College, and does not really have any necessary background with regard to working or anything. He is, in our judgment, someone that does not socialize much with people. He is what we call a loner. While he did enjoy certain things like Xbox and whatnot, it does not appear that he had any type of social activities beyond what he himself chose to do in his own spare time. He has been charged with the firebombing and the attempted murder of 9 individuals on the January 11th bombing at the synagogue in Rutherford. We've also linked him and have charged him with aggravated arson for the firebombing on January 3rd at the synagogue in Paramus. In Paramus, gasoline was used. The gasoline was brought to the site on both occasions, both Paramus and Rutherford. Mr. Graziano rode his bike. There was an issue with regard to his car, so we feel that on both that he used the bike. It's a bit of a long ride from Lodi to Paramus, not from Lodi to the residence, to the synagogue on Montrose Avenue. But he brought gasoline along with certain other containers. He did intentionally light the fire at the synagogue in Paramus, also threw a bottle that contained gasoline. Fortunately, that's a fire that went out very quickly. He left and then went back. For those of you that want to know how he came up with that synagogue as opposed to the others, there is no connection between him and any congregationist. There's no connection between him and the rabbi or the rabbi's family. Simply Googled area synagogues, obviously taking into consideration that he would probably be utilizing his bicycle to get there. Obviously looking at probably choosing synagogues in more residential areas opposed to non-residential areas. The aggravated arson, by the way, is a first-degree offense. Under New Jersey law, it normally would be second degree, but it becomes aggravated when you attempt to light a church or synagogue. So it is a first-degree offense. In a moment, I'll go back and just indicate what the exposure is for each of these. We've also charged him with bias intimidation on both Paramus and the Rutherford incidents. We have no doubt that the arson and the attempted murder in Rutherford were directly the result of Mr. Graziano's hatred for people of Jewish faith. We believe that he did this because they were synagogues, and specifically to intimidate or cause alarm or concern, as I believe it did, to people within the Jewish community, not just those associated with the two specific synagogues, but the community in general. In the Rutherford incident, again, he used the bicycle. He constructed the Molotov cocktails, and if I could just take a few minutes. He used empty orange crush, or I'm sorry, raspberry crush soda bottles. He used low-grade motor oil. He used duct tape. And he used 3 cans of hairspray. Just so you know, these are not the specific items of evidence in the case. These are samples, but they are the identical samples to what was used, including the hairspray. You can see the crush, but I'm not necessarily saying anything about the manufacture of these products. They are what they are. They are readily available. How did we find Mr. Graziano? It gets back to good, hard street police work. Detectives from my office early on indicated that if I was going to buy soda in a 6-pack of this form, motor oil, hairspray, and duct tape, where would I go? And starting with, Rutherford being the point, they went outward and they soon came upon the Walmart in Saddlebrook. That is now gone into sleep. Can somebody press that to make sure? For while you came in here, there was this tape that was rolling. That you've already seen. That's Mr. Graziano coming out of the store. This is Mr. Graziano actually making the actual purchases of the soda. There it is. And then you'll see the aerosol spray can, the duct tape. There's the cans. He obviously pays in cash, because if he had paid a credit card, we probably would have solved this a little bit earlier. After he makes the payment with the cash, as you see here, and you can see the camouflage bag. Of course, this we had, I will share with you, very, very early on in this investigation. I think in our last press conference, we did have this early on. The individuals at Walmart were very, very cooperative. It was just IDing the person. And we did have a tip line, and there was, of course, a reward that has been assembled together through the good work of the lawyer. And we were, as of yesterday, receiving quite a few tips. In fact, we received quite a few tips throughout the entire period, but yesterday is when it became at a much higher level. We did receive valid tips that directly related to the capture of Mr. Graziano. Based upon the information that we received, we then directed our attention, our investigation in a particular location involving Mr. Graziano. We did execute search warrants, and we did make the arrest late last evening at his home in Lodi. The Molotov cocktails were manufactured in advance, meaning before Mr. Graziano got to the scene. We believe that he, of course, either drank or emptied the soda, poured gasoline and the light grade oil into the container, placed a wick, which was a fabric, which the only fabric we have is actually the evidentiary fabric, which I would prefer not to show, but used fabric as a wick, and then covered it with duct tape, and then went to the scene, put everything in his backpack, went to the scene in his bicycle, went to the front, and then began to take one or two at a time, run up to the building, light them, and throw them. Because this is an important element in that part that we have drawn the conclusion that this is a crime of hate and bias, I can share with you that the Molotov cocktail that went through the bedroom window where the rabbi and the rabbi's wife slept was one of the first few that he threw. And we believe that he knew that he had thrown the Molotov cocktail into the house and knew that there were individuals in the house based upon what our investigation shows. And notwithstanding that he had thrown the Molotov cocktail into the house and knew there were people, went back, got more Molotov cocktails, threw them at the house as well as the aerosol spray cans. To us, that clearly justifies the knowledge that there were individuals inside the structure, as well as the fact that this was a crime of hate and bias. There's no semblance in terms of these products that we know of right now. I know that some of you has asked me over the last week, what is it with the crush? I'm sure a lot of you have done your own research. I cannot confirm or deny anything right now as to why crush would be used. I do not want anyone to leave here thinking that crush is the soda for Molotov cocktails. That is not what it is. I personally don't drink the soda, but I don't want anyone to think that at all. What goes into why Mr. Graziano chose these products, I have no idea. But the tape, as you can see, clearly indicates purchasing all of these at one time was a very strong indication on our part that this fellow, who was known to us last week and identified to us as of yesterday.
I'll continue to work with Jewish leaders, to meet with them and to talk with them about their concerns. But really what this was about, like the prosecutor said, was the excellent law enforcement work that went on from the Rutherford police, the Paramus police, and the Lodi police that led to this, led to these arrests, and obviously the folks from the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office that I had a chance to work with in the past at the U.S. Attorney's Office, who really did outstanding work, and they're to be congratulated for that. Thank you.
But I'd just like to make 4 quick points. The first of which was early on in this investigation, there was a lot of public attention about what was the FBI's role, what was the FBI's involvement in this. And I want to mention that when it comes to civil rights, that is one of the top 10 priorities for the FBI. Because you're dealing with the right to people to live their lives without fear, the right to worship and live their life the way that they feel. And that goes right to the heart of what we do in law enforcement. So as a top 10 priority for us, that means when we're sitting down and we're conducting our business in law enforcement, we're saying, okay, what are we doing in public corruption? What are we doing in counterterrorism? And specifically, what are we doing in civil rights? We have dedicated agents who work within the civil rights program every day. That is their full-time assignment. Their responsibilities include establishing relationships, reviewing allegations, and conducting investigations in civil rights, and it is their full-time job. When it came to this investigation, we joined forces with Bergen County officials. The first briefing that I had when we were looking at this investigation, I was really impressed by the investigative strategy that had been established, by the ideas that had been set forth, and I felt like that the best role that the FBI could have in this investigation would be to roll up our sleeves, jump in, and really, perform in a supportive role. And that's the position that we took in this investigation, and I think it played out very well. I feel that this investigation really is what the citizens of Bergen County and the citizens of New Jersey should expect from law enforcement. And that we come together, we pull our resources, and we pursue the investigation for the sake of the best possible outcome. And the same holds true when it comes to the prosecution of this case. When we look at cases, and we do, there are no individual successes in law enforcement. And when it comes to prosecution, we say, where's the best place to prosecute this case? And when you look at the state of New Jersey has outstanding statutes when it comes to hate crimes and bias crimes. And when you look at that, and you look at the investigative momentum that had been established, I worked very closely with the United States Attorney, and I can tell you that we felt that this case was moving in a great direction, and it was best for us to stay and really support the ongoing effort, so that we felt like that the state prosecution in this instance was going to be the most effective prosecution in this case, and we're behind it 100%.
Okay. Of course, as the sheriff of the county, I'm very happy there was a quick resolution to this. I'm sure the Jewish community is much relieved. It was stated earlier, though, that you can't let your guard down. Yes, we caught this individual, but still need to be aware of your surroundings and be cautious in your daily routines. It was a great idea the prosecutor had, where our patrol forces and the county police, we patrolled every synagogue full-time in Bergen County. We don't know for sure, but maybe that was a deterrent, and there wasn't another incident due to those patrol efforts.
It was mentioned that the backpack that Mr. Graziano used was not found, so the police are still looking for it. Now, if somebody finds it, what should they do?
Actually, immediately either call their local police or contact the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office, because as Prosecutor Molinelli said, it is a significant piece of evidence that we would like to have.